AITA for making my girlfriend cheap lasagna? 24F. Make a delicious lasagna from scratch that takes hours and lots of money to make. It's so good that friends and family ask me to make it for them for birthdays instead of getting them a gift. Last month I decided to make it for my girlfriend, 23F. I spent a lot of money on the ingredients and then more than half of the day making the herb-infused fresh pasta dough, the ragu, etc. When she came over, she took a couple of bites and said that she didn't understand why I spent so much time and money on it because it tasted exactly like the lasagna she would make with canned panzani bolognese sauce and boxed pasta sheets. Not similar, not kinda like, but exactly like it. My feelings were a lil hurt NGL, but I understand that'll each their tastes and I just told her I'm sorry. She didn't like it that much and then kept it pushing and suggested we watch a movie. Flash forward to yesterday, she was coming over for dinner and I asked her what she wanted to eat and she said, lasagna. So I popped over to the store and got panzani sauce and pasta sheets to make it because A. She said my lasagna and the quick-made one tasted the exact same, so no need to spend a lot on ingredients, and B. because even if I had wanted to make my recipe, I wouldn't have the time since it takes me an entire afternoon, which is why it's a special occasions thing. So she showed up at my house, took one bite of the lasagna and then spat it out and said that it tastes different. When I told her I made it how she did, she got really upset at me and said that I wasn't putting in effort and that she was expecting to have a real meal and not something cheap. I pointed out the comments she made last time, and she rolled her eyes and said she was clearly exaggerating. So Thenny got upset because WTH. The situation got brought up to our mutual friends. Most have stayed out of it, but two of them think I'm the AmItheAsshole because my GF clearly meant she wanted my special lasagna, which is why she asked for it as dinner, and that I should have let her known beforehand that I was going to make one using pre-made sauce, etc. I think it was clear that that's what I was going to do cause she literally asked for lasagna 2 hours before coming over, which is not enough time to make the special one even if I wanted to. AITA? To clarify, the cheap lasagna tasted just fine, pretty tasty even. Just not at all comparable to the original one, in my opinion. Edit. Just wanted to say I've posted the lasagna recipe in the comments for those interested. AITA for saying my son can make his own choices? My son is 18 and will graduate from high school in a few months. Lately he has been fighting a lot with my wife, and my wife isn't his biological mother, but she's been his mom since he was 3. A week ago they got into a big fight, and my wife got frustrated and yelled at him Thatch wasn't his mother. Since then he has been completely cold to her, and when he does have to address her he does so by her first name. My wife confiscated the keys to his car last night, but I gave them back this morning, because he didn't curse at her, just call her by her name. Besides, I don't want to drive all the kids to school and then pick them up. My wife is upset and said I need to support her and talk to him. I think it's pointless. He's 18. If he doesn't want to call her mom, we can't really make him. My wife says I am being a lazy asshole that just doesn't want to have a conversation with him. Maybe I am an asshole, but I did talk to him. He said he's not going to call her mom again, ever. Well, what am I supposed to do about it? Even if we find a way to force him to, he's going to school out of state, so what would we do then? Just seems like a pointless battle that will only create more animosity. But maybe that's just what a lazy soul would say. WIBTA if I gave my dentist a written statement to help defend him against my friend who is trying to sue him. I, 55F, have a friend Jean of similar age. She's not what I'd call a close friend, but I've known her a long time. She's the type of person who always thinks she's right and won't back down easily from anything. A few months ago she had toothache and asked me which dentist I used. My dentist is amazing, so I recommended him. She has a dental phobia and asked me to go with her to her appointment. He was lovely to her. Spent a long time talking to her, explaining everything, put her at her ease. She had a big abscess under one of her back teeth. He said it either needed root canal and a crown or extracting. The root canal crown would be best part of £1,000 total, and he was really clear to her that it was a big abscess and there was no guarantee root canal would work. He actually said the odds were 50-50 and it might be better to extract the tooth and put that money towards an implant or bridge instead. He said he could offer no form of guarantee, refund if problems happened. He was clear in what he said, and I know she heard and understood that the odds weren't great. She decided to go ahead with the treatment. I went with her to one further appointment, but not all of them. Fast forward a few months. Everything was okay initially after the root canal and crown, but then she got another infection. She had antibiotics, but the problem persisted and she ended up having the tooth out. She is livid. You'd think he was the worst person in the world from what she says about him. She wants to sue him and has been to a lawyer to get advice. She is claiming that she wasn't properly warned that the treatment may not work. Apparent live lawyer is confident she'll get a payout. He's told her that it'll be hard for him to prove he properly warned her, and dentists are insured for this stuff. They think his insurance will pay out because it won't be worth their time to try and defend it. I am really annoyed at her for this because I know she's lying about not being warned. I really like the dentist and feel awful for him that he faces legal action for this, and that I was the one who introduced her to him. I worry that it will reflect badly on me in his eyes when I see him in the future. I have argued with her about it because I witnessed him warning her, but she says it's none of my business. Her view is it doesn't hurt him because he'll have insurance. Like I said, she doesn't back down from things. I feel so strongly about this that I want to send a written statement to the dentist that he can use back against her. I would state that I witnessed the appointment when he warned her and that she clearly heard and understood what he said. I know that in doing so I would probably lose her as a friend, but to be honest I don't care about that at this point. My husband thinks I should do it. He's never liked Jean. He describes her as a nightmare and thinks I'm best off without her as a friend. So, WIBTA if I did this. AITA for not washing my hands at 3 a.m. Last night, my significant other, 28F, woke me, 29M, up at around 3 a.m. to tell me that I had thrown her dog off the bed while sleeping. I was a bit annoyed that she woke me up, so I went to the kitchen to grab a glass of water and use the restroom. I tried to stay as sleepy as possible to fall back asleep quickly. When I returned to bed, my so told me to wash my hands, as she had apparently heard me in the restroom and noticed that I forgot to wash them in my half-asleep state. I told her that I just wanted to go back to sleep and didn't want to argue since I had sprained my ankle a bit earlier in the evening. However, she continued to ask me to wash me hands repeatedly. After some back and forth, I decided to sleep in the guest room instead of our bed. I am aware that I should wash my hands after using the restroom, but I was annoyed that my so wouldn't drop the issue, and I couldn't fall back asleep until about 5:30 a.m. The next morning, I woke up in a bad mood, and Miso asked me jokingly why I had slept in the guest room. I told her that I had slept there because she woke me up for the dog and wouldn't drop the hand-washing issue. I expected an apology from her since I thought waking me up for the dog was inappropriate. However, she told me that it was my fault for not washing my hands and that I should have tried harder to fall back asleep. She said I was being dramatic and needed to get over it. I got frustrated because I had asked her to drop the issue several times during the night, but Shahad ignored me. I got angry and told her that I should have washed my hands, but that waking me up for the dog's comfort was ridiculous and that she should have dropped it when I asked her to. I then told her not to talk to me until she had something else to say besides, "You are overreacting." She left for work, and I am now typing this in my home office, feeling upset. We are at a standstill where I feel like I need an apology, and she feels like I am being dramatic. I tend to get angry quickly when I am sleep deprived, so I know that I may be in the wrong here. I need some outside perspective, so Reddit, AmItheAsshole? AITA for deliberately embarrassing my father-in-law in front of his family? I am 36, am absolutely not what you would call a handy kind of guy. I can build an IKEA flat pack, and I can follow a YouTube tutorial to find out how to declog my washing machine, but I don't have any, what my father-in-law, M60, would call worthwhile skills. I have to give him the credit that he's due, and say that he's knowledgeable about plumbing, joinery and electrics. He has often helped me and my wife with matters in our home, leaky pipe, some plastering work etc., and we have always been grateful and appreciative of his efforts. My skills are more IT-based. I work in this field for a living, which means I often get saddled with the old chestnuts such as, "Can you fix the printer?" or "The internet isn't working." To me, these are simple issues to fix, but he's very illiterate. I never make a big deal about this, because it's the least I can do to repay his help. However, he spares no opportunity whatsoever to take shots at my lack of worthwhile skills. He'll say, often in front of family and friends, that I'm not a real man, or that I'd be useless in an emergency, that sort of thing. Because he does a lot of stuff that I generally suck at, I bite my tongue and don't say anything to him. This week changed that. We bought my daughter this massive climbing frame swing set for her birthday. My wife and I were able to assemble most of it, but the last few bits, as well as anchoring it to the ground, were giving us issues. My brother happened to stop by to visit, so he helped, but my wife also phoned Phil to come and help. We got the job done, but again, the commentary continued, which was especially insulting considering my brother was there. Yesterday we were up visiting him. I was there, as was my wife, his wife, and my wife's brother Andy's wife. He asked me if I could look at his laptop, as he had some sort of virus. When I fired it up, it was one of those ransomware programs. Camera was showing the webcam feed on a fake police website. I was able to get his computer somewhat back to normal after a while, which took longer than he'd have liked according to his comments. While I was bringing it back, he kept badgering me about what had caused the virus. A peruse through his internet history revealed a lot of nothing particularly embarrassing, but probably information that he wouldn't have wanted shared. It was out of my mouth before I had even finished processing the thought. Loads of these websites have a lot of viruses and dodgy stuff. I'll get you a membership from my Norton account. You could have cut the tension with a knife. Housewife looked super angry, and sister-in-law stifled a laugh. We left shortly after that, but on the way out we heard the two of them arguing. My wife gave me both barrels in the car, but AITA is always giving me hassle and I keep my mouth shut. Things have been frosty ever since, and I wonder if I went too far. AITA?